When a woman finally realizes she's lost you, it hits differently, not because she didn't see it coming, but because she never thought it would actually happen. See, most women believe they'll always have access to a man who once cared deeply for them. They think you'll always pick up the phone, always reply, always be there waiting. But when that changes, when your silence becomes consistent and your energy is no longer available to her, that's when reality hits her in a way she didn't expect. That's the part most men don't see. You often think she doesn't care that she's moved on easily, but what you don't realize is her behavior after losing you says everything. It might not come out as regret at first. It often shows up as confusion, ego battles, emotional swings, or even subtle attempts to get your attention again. And that's what this video is about. Understanding how she really acts when she knows she's lost you for good. Because here's the truth. Women process loss differently. Emotionally, they might seem strong on the outside, but deep down, the moment she realizes your presence, your attention and your energy are no longer hers. She starts to feel that emotional withdrawal like a slow burn. It's not always loud, but it's powerful. It shakes her ego, her emotions, and sometimes even her self-image. Welcome to the channel. If you're new here, we talk about real female psychology, not the sugar-coated stuff. I help men understand how women actually think so you can respond with clarity, no emotion. Today's topic is one most men overlook: what a woman goes through when she realizes she truly lost you. Because when you understand this, you stop chasing, stop doubting, and start seeing her actions for what they really mean, not what you wish they meant. Now, let's break down exactly what happens when that realization hits her, and how you can recognize the signs. One, she pretends she doesn't care, but she's watching everything, pretends she doesn't care, but she's watching everything. One of the first things a woman does when she realizes she's lost you is act like she doesn't care. She'll appear completely unbothered. You might see her posting more on social media, looking like she's having the time of her life, dressing better, hanging out more, maybe even flirting online. On the surface, it looks like she's already moved on, but that's the illusion. What's really happening underneath the calm exterior is a quiet panic she doesn't want anyone, especially you, to see. Women are emotional strategists. When she feels like she's lost control of your attention, she tries to control the narrative instead. So she puts on a show. Her goal isn't always to make you jealous, though that's often part of it. It's to protect her ego. Because if she can make it look like she's fine, she doesn't have to face the truth that she's hurting or that she lost someone who actually mattered. You'll notice the shift. She starts being more active online, maybe even deleting old pictures of you, pretending she's over it. But behind that, she's checking your profile, watching your stories, trying to see if you've moved on, if you're happy, or if you still notice her. That's why silence hits her harder than anything else. When you stop reacting, she starts wondering what's going on. She used to be able to control your emotions. Your mood used to change based on what she said or did. But now you're detached, and that's unsettling for her. Let's make it clear. This isn't always about love. Sometimes it's about ego validation, or realizing that the man she took for granted isn't waiting anymore. Women are deeply aware of energy shifts. When she feels yours disappear, she feels powerless, and that's something she's not used to. So instead of admitting it, she acts, she performs. She wants to be seen as the one who's winning after the breakup. But the irony is the more she tries to look like she doesn't care, the more it shows that she does. Her sudden need to prove she's happy. Her subtle jabs, her attention-seeking posts, they all come from one thing: the awareness that she lost your attention. 2, her ego starts fighting. Her feelings fighting her feelings. Once a woman realizes she's lost you, the real battle doesn't start between you and her. It starts within her. Her ego and her emotions go to war. On one side, her feelings tell her she misses you, that she shouldn't have pushed you away, that maybe she took your love for granted. But on the other side, her ego tells her, don't reach out, don't let him think you care. He should be the one chasing you. This is where the confusion begins, not for you, but for her, because deep down she's feeling that void. Your presence used to give her a sense of comfort and control. You were emotionally invested and she knew it. But now you're distant, calm, maybe even silent. And that silence starts eating at her. Her ego tries to convince her she's fine, that she's strong, that she doesn't need you. But her feelings start whispering something else. that maybe she lost someone she won't easily replace. That inner conflict creates tension in her behavior. One moment she might be reminiscing or feeling nostalgic, and the next she's posting something to prove she's unbothered. It's not logical, it's emotional. Here Go is trying to maintain the image that she's still in control, but her heart knows she's not. That's why her actions become inconsistent. She might view your stories, then block you the next day. She might talk about you indirectly, then act like she never cared. It's her way of trying to balance those two powerful forces inside her. For men, this is where it's important to understand something. A woman's ego doesn't like to lose, especially to her own emotions. That's why she'll often suppress her feelings rather than admit she misses you. It's not pride in the traditional sense. It's self-protection. Admitting she lost you means facing the consequences of her own decisions, and that's hard for anyone, but especially for someone who once felt emotionally safe with your attention. She tries to get an emotional reaction out of you. 3. She tries to get an emotional reaction out of you. When a woman knows she's lost you, and silence becomes your new language, her next move is simple. She'll try to get an emotional reaction out of you. Why? Because if she can make you react even negatively, it tells her she still matters. It means she still has a hold on your emotions, even if their relationship is over. See, attention, whether it's love or anger, still feeds her emotionally. When she texts you something confusing, posts something that feels directed at you, or suddenly brings up your name in mutual circles, she's testing you. She wants to know, can I still affect him? And if you respond emotionally, if you get defensive, irritated, or try to explain yourself, you confirm it. You let her know she still has power. That's why this phase is tricky for most men. You might think she's reaching out because she wants to reconnect. But often it's not about reconciliation, it's about validation. She's trying to measure how much you've detached. If you don't respond or if your energy stays calm and indifferent, it bothers her more than you realize. It tells her the emotional connection she once relied on is fading. This is where women can become subtly manipulative, even without meaning to. She might act confused about why you're distant, pretend she just wanted to check in, or even bring up random memories to stir up emotion. If that doesn't work, she might try the opposite, provoke you. She'll say things that challenge your pride, post things that seem disrespectful, or act like she's already replaced you. But again, it's not about her being over you. It's about trying to wake up the version of you who used to react. This behavior usually happens when her ego starts losing its grip. She's emotionally uncomfortable with your indifference, so she pushes boundaries just to get a spark, any spark. The irony is your calmness. Your refusal to engage is what actually drives her crazy. Because women are used to seeing men chase when emotions get triggered. When you don't, it flips the dynamic completely. For she suddenly remembers you were different. Remembers you were different after the emotional battles and ego games start to fade. Something interesting happens. She begins to remember, not just the general idea of you, but the small things she overlooked when she had you. Suddenly, the things she once dismissed or found boring become the things she misses the most. Your consistency, your calmness, the way you listened, the stability you brought into her life. It's at this stage that she realizes you weren't like the rest. When a woman feels your absence deeply enough, her mind starts to replay moments through a new lens. What once felt normal now feels rare. The men she once took for granted starts standing out in her memory because she compares him, consciously or not, to what she's seeing now. Maybe she's dating again. Maybe she's surrounded by attention, but it's not the same. It's shallow, temporary, or just emotionally empty. And that's when it hits her. You weren't just another guy. You were different. That realization doesn't always come with an apology or a message. Often, she keeps it to herself because admitting it would mean confronting her own mistakes. But you'll notice signs, subtle ones. She might start liking old posts, viewing your stories again, or bringing up old memories in casual ways. That's her way of testing the waters, seeing if there's still an opening without actually being vulnerable. This stage also exposes a powerful truth about attraction. People rarely value what feels guaranteed. While she had your attention, she was emotionally comfortable. She knew your effort, your love, and your presence were there whenever she wanted them. But once that certainty disappears, she begins to see you with new eyes. The more distant you become, the more she realizes that what you offered wasn't ordinary. And here's the part men often don't understand. Women don't always come back because they miss you. Sometimes they come back because they miss how they felt when they were with you. That emotional safety, that respect, that quiet confidence, those are things that are hard to replace. She uses indirect ways to get your attention. 5. She uses indirect ways to get your attention. When a woman knows she's lost you, but isn't ready to admit it, she rarely reaches out directly. Instead, she uses subtle, indirect ways to get your attention. Little actions designed to make you notice her again without her having to say a word. This is where female psychology becomes fascinating, because everything she does seems casual, but it's intentional. You might start noticing that she suddenly becomes more active on social media. She posts pictures that look effortlessly attractive, adds cryptic captions about growth, peace, or moving on, and makes sure the timing lines up suspiciously close to when you're online. She might even tag mutual friends knowing it'll pop up in your feed. It's all part of the silent game. She's not reaching out, but she's hoping you will. Here's a situation that explains this perfectly. You've gone quiet. You've accepted the breakup, and you've stopped checking her updates. Then out of nowhere, she posts something that feels like it's meant for you. Maybe a song lyric about regret or a memory from when you were together. You scroll past it, but it lingers in your mind. That's exactly what she wanted. She's testing whether she can still occupy space in your thoughts without saying a word. Women often communicate indirectly when they feel emotionally vulnerable. Instead of admitting, "I miss you," they create situations that invite your attention. Maybe she shows up at a place she knows you frequent, or messages one of your friends out of nowhere. Sometimes she'll even ask about you through someone else, pretending it's casual. But underneath it, she's checking, does he still care? These tactics aren't necessarily manipulative. They're protective. They allow her to reconnect with your energy without exposing her pride. Remember, by this stage, her ego has already taken a few hits. She knows reaching out directly would mean acknowledging that she lost emotional power. So instead, she hides it behind subtle gestures and coincidences. 6. She feels the emotional withdrawal, stronger than you. Think emotional withdrawal, stronger than you. Think most men assume women move on faster. And on the surface, it can look that way. She's smiling, going out, posting pictures, maybe even talking to someone new. But underneath that performance, something deeper is happening. When she knows she's truly lost you, the emotional withdrawal starts to hit. And it hits harder than most men ever realize. You see, women bond emotionally first and detach emotionally last. Even when she leaves you, she often doesn't feel the full impact of her decision right away. She distracts herself with attention, new experiences, or friends who validate her choice. But when the noise fades and the attention slows down, that's when she starts to feel it. The emotional emptiness that comes from losing the man who once gave her real connection. This phase is silent but powerful. She starts thinking more. The memories she tried to ignore start showing up when she's alone. The good moments replay in her mind, not because she wants to go back, but because she's now comparing what she had with what she has. And emotionally, it's not matching up. That's when regret begins to creep in. Not in one big wave, but slowly day by day. Her body and emotions go through a form of withdrawal, similar to how anyone feels when something they were emotionally dependent on disappears. The consistency you once gave her, their assurance, your attention, your presence, all of that created a sense of emotional comfort. When it's gone, she feels the void. And the deeper your connection once was, the stronger that withdrawal becomes. That's why your silence affects her more than you think. When you pull back emotionally, you're not just removing communication. You're removing access to the energy she used to feed off. It's not about control or manipulation. It's about reality. People notice the value of consistency only after it disappears. During this stage, she might seem restless or unpredictable. She might text, then pull away. She might show up in your world again, then vanish. That's not clarity. That's withdrawal. She's trying to fill the emotional gap without admitting that she misses what you provided. For men, this is where patience and detachment matter most. Don't rush in to fix her emotions or comfort her. The pain she's feeling is part of her realization process. The longer you stay silent and grounded, the more her emotions work against her ego, and the more she understands the real cost of losing you. 7. She starts regretting, but pride keeps her. Quiet regretting, but pride keeps her quiet. By the time she reaches this stage, the truth has fully sunk in. She's lost you, not just temporarily, not just for a reaction, but for real. And now the emotions she once ignored or fought against begin to overwhelm her. She feels regret. Real heavy regret. But there's the twist. She won't show it. Her pride won't let her. Women are emotional, but they're also prideful when it comes to vulnerability, especially if they were the ones who ended things or took you for granted. To admit regret would mean admitting she misjudged your worth, and that's a hard truth to face. So instead of saying, "I miss you," she stays silent. Instead of apologizing, she watches. She waits. She hopes you break the silence first. But when you don't, that silence becomes the mirror that forces her to face her own decisions. Her regret doesn't always look emotional. It often looks behavioral. She starts comparing other men to you, finding herself unimpressed or disconnected. She might scroll through old messages, replay your conversations, or even check your profile just to feel that emotional familiarity again. It's not about obsession. It's about realization. She's beginning to understand that what she once saw as normal was actually rare. This is where men often make a mistake. They sense her regret and rush in to reconnect. But when you do that, you take away the lesson she's supposed to learn. Regret is powerful only when it's felt, not when it's comforted. If you step in too early, you let her ego recover, and she forgets why she missed you in the first place. This is also where a man's emotional strength is tested. It's easy to want validation to prove you were right, or that she finally sees your value. But a truly grounded man doesn't need that. He already knows his worth, and he doesn't seek emotional closure from someone who once ignored it. So yes, she'll feel regret deeply. She'll remember your patience, your loyalty, your consistency, the things she once overlooked. She'll want to reach out, but pride will stop her. And the longer you stay calm and detached, the harder it becomes for her to pretend she's okay. Because what she's really realizing isn't just that she lost you. It's that she lost the version of herself who felt safe, valued, and grounded when she was with you. That's the kind of regret that lingers quietly, and no matter how much she hides it, it changes the way she looks at every man after you. Here's the truth conclusion most men never realize. When a woman knows she's lost you, she doesn't forget it. She might hide it, distract herself, or act unbothered. But deep down, it stays with her, because losing a man who was emotionally grounded, calm, and no longer seeking validation hits differently. It challenges her ego, her emotions, and her sense of control all at once. And here's a thought-provoking truth. A woman never truly respects a man she can easily manipulate emotionally. It's only when she feels that loss of control, when your silence becomes louder than any argument, that she begins to respect you again. That's the moment she sees the men she once underestimated. So, if you're in that stage where she's acting distant, pretending not to care, or playing subtle games, don't chase. Let your silence and stability do the talking. You don't need to prove your value to someone who already had the chance to experience it and chose otherwise. The more you stay detached, the more she feels the emotional weight of her decisions. Remember, real power isn't in getting her back. It's in becoming the kind of man she can't forget, even when pride keeps her from saying it out loud. Now, I want to hear from you. Have you ever seen a woman act differently once she realized she lost you? Drop your story in the comments below. I'll be reading and engaging with your experiences because these are the moments that teach men the most.